thoughts about remaining calm when you're going through an intense storm, when it's chaos all around you, whatever it is that you are going through. Whether you are being mistreated at work, maybe you're being mistreated by a family member, you don't know what to do with an adult child that perhaps is struggling with addiction. Maybe you're struggling with an addiction or an addiction that is behind you. Maybe there's a financial issue that you're struggling with. There's debt. Maybe there's sickness in your life. Maybe there's a spouse or a child or a parent who is enduring sickness. I think of several biblical characters that struggle with things, and I'll share these with you first, and then I want to kind of get into real life. How have I dealt with some of what I've gone through? Sometimes I think that hearing from someone else that's been through it, just like you've been through things, and you can share those things with others who are going through something similar. I've been through some stuff that has taught me, God has taught me how to remain calm when it's just incredibly chaotic. So Job says, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him, but I will maintain mine own ways before him. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. I think that mentality is important. That's an undergirding mentality for me. Daniel, when he was thrown into the lion's den, I don't have the exact words, but his belief was that God would provide for him. And of course, God did. God sent angels that closed the mouth of the lions. And he was able to tell the king that the next day, my God took care of me. We look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the Hebrew boys that were thrown into the fire for not worshiping the idol, the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. And they said to him, our God will deliver us. This is what I think is really interesting. But even if he does not, we will not bow. Imagine, so one of the things that I've allowed myself to think about over the course of life is, yea, though he slay me, I'll still trust in him. My God will deliver me, but even if he doesn't, that's okay too. Paul and Silas in prison, right? All the apostles going to their death. Stephen, when he was stoned. Father, I think sometimes we dwell on this. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Stephen realized they don't have a clue. They thought they were doing the right thing. They don't have a clue. And sometimes the pressure that's coming against us, the other person doesn't even know what they're doing. So in real life, how do we tie this into real life? Keep your eyes on Jesus. He's your peace. He said, I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Imagine if so much of that life is peace, the peace that he gives you. It's not something that you buck yourself up to. We look to him. We keep our eyes on Jesus every day. Sometimes every hour, we have to keep our eyes on Jesus. I think about when I was in the children's home for a couple of years, or 2.5 years when I was in high school. And even prior to that, being by my parents totally unknowingly, hopefully, on their part, right? Like, they know not what they do. I came this close to death. My remembrance is that I saw Jesus. I spent time very close to the other side. And so ever since then, I've just been incredibly grateful for my opportunity to be here, that there's nothing that man can do to me that will be that even if man took me out, then I just go to the other side. I just continue my journey. And it's crazy. Up until the last 6 months, I was never able to talk about this. I carried so much incredible shame over being in the children's home that for my entire life is something that I hid inside of myself. And then thinking about being starved, I want to talk about it. The primary reason was that I never wanted to assign the reason. So I would always just push that under the carpet, just totally ignoring it. And now I'm able to say, look, they didn't know what they were doing. And if they did, that's okay too. They didn't know what they were doing, right? So here's the thing. I've made mistakes. I over relied on grace, my own ability. So kind of going through my 20s, early 30s, really over relying on grace, making some mistakes, and then, just accepting God's forgiveness. All of that is cool, right? But I crossed the line some. I learned to cope or relief from the pressure that's out there. But the solution every single time, and where the last 25 years of my life, where I have just intensely relied on him, the solution every single time, year after year after year, month after month after month, is just keeping my eyes on Jesus. He's gotten me through everything. He got me through in the last couple of years, nasty marital separation that ultimately culminated in divorce. Very difficult for me to share, and yet even as I share this message today, I think there's a part of me that wants you to see, if you've gotten this far in the video, right? That when I talk about keeping my eyes on Jesus, he'll bring you all the way through. I think about what he's brought me through my entire life, but especially what he's brought me through in the last couple of years, going from just a place of intense pain, intense shame, intense sense of loss, intense sense of worthlessness. Like, what have I lived these last 25 years for? And then when I go behind that, I go, what did I live the 10 years before that for? What did I even live childhood for to end up here? And in the course of really the last 6 to 12 months, he has shown me that there's life at the other side of intense crisis. And let me just speak to you for a second. Look, I don't know what your crisis is. I have clients that have gone through and that share with me about crisis with their families, their husbands or wives, getting Alzheimer's or dementia or heart disease, being near death for 5 or 10 years, talking about children that have separated from the Lord, parents that are dying, sickness in themselves. I want to encourage you, whatever it is that you're going through. You may not identify with a single pain that I've been through. You may not identify with a single pain. But instead of feeling any kind of sympathy, take it to yourself and say, well, what's the pain I'm going through? Because I submit to you that the pain that you're going through has a similarness to the pain that I've been through, even though the source of the pain is different. And I can tell you this, that Jesus has taken me all the way through. Jesus has shown me solution. And are there still some hanging chads? Are there still some things that are open, that are open wounds that he's still taking me through, that I believe in the next couple of years that he will, yes, so I can still be in the middle of it. I don't have to be over it and look back on it and go, he's rescued me from 50 years of these challenges, right? He's still in the process, and he'll still be in the process until the time that I get to meet him face to face again on the other side, and I don't have to come back. He will get me. And here's another, I put this in my notes, and I'm glad I did, or I would have forgotten it. So here's the thing. Because of the fact that I have such a rich memory of all the things that he's taken me through, anything in life that comes up against me, I know he'll get me through. Why? Because he's gotten me through all of these other things that many people never make it through. So many of the things that I've been through, many people never, ever make it through. And yet he brought me through, not my own power, not my own strength. And really, I see that even more and more in these last couple of years when I realized that I powered through a lot of things in my 30s and 40s, especially, by some pseudo belief that I could power through mentally, or that I could power through physically, right? Or I could use caffeine or other things to elevate me or to calm me or whatever, to just combined all together to be able to push all the way through. But the truth of the matter is, it's Jesus that has gotten me all the way through. And so what that tells me is that for the next 30 or 35 years, he will get me through everything that comes against me. And not just what comes against me, but the things that he has for me the big things that he has still for me to do, at least a couple of big projects that he has for me to do, I can't do it in my own strength. And the crazy thing is that 20 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, I can almost do it in my own strength. God, give me a little bit extra. My favorite verse in high school was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I gave him all the credit, but it was still, I can do it. Now I look at the big things that he has set before me, and I'm like, there's no way I can do this. I'm just the body through which he'll do that. Every morning you wake up, and a lot of times you wake up in the morning and you have thoughts. First thing you think about is what's going to go wrong today, or what went wrong yesterday, or whatever the problem is, or every hour there's stress. I will take it to the Lord. I don't want to say every single hour, because it's not like I set an alarm, but thank you, Lord, for getting me through this. Thank you for getting me through this. Lord of Lords, King of Kings, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for giving me the strength. I think about the verse, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Psalm 37, 17-ish in there somewhere. You're my God and my provider. Thank you for giving me calm. And in that, I can remain calm. And here's the thing, sometimes if I'm not, I can spend 15 minutes just praising the Lord. Say, Lord, thank you. I worship you. I worship you. You're King of Kings. You're Lord of Lords. You're so big. You're bigger than all these trees. You're bigger than all this grass. You're bigger than all these people. You're bigger than all the problems. You're bigger than all the solutions. You spend 10, 15 minutes speaking out words like that, and you're going, I anyway, become calm again. Why? Because now, instead of my problem being like 1,000 times bigger than me, I realize that me and my problem are 1 billion times smaller than God, and he's got it. He cares about every feather on a sparrow's head. How much more does he care about us? So no matter how calm, how scared I am inside, I can remain calm. No matter how much I might feel an emotion like anger or fear, I can 100% decide how I'll act, right? I get to decide. Here's the thing. I think about this, whether it's anger or it's shame or it's, rage or stress or fear, whatever. You and I can't control the very first impulse. We can't control that. We can't control the first thing that we see. What we can control is what happens 1 second later. We can note that we're getting angry, and we can ask ourselves, is this righteous or not? Then we can ask ourselves, am I going to act righteously or not? Am I going to allow myself to spiral up, or am I going to take a few deep breaths, and am I going to become calm, remain calm? How am I personally going to deal with this? I get to make that choice. Literally, after a split second, I get to make that choice. Now, I make that with the Lord. I can make that with the Lord. I can ask him to strengthen me. I can spend time in the Word. I can spend time in the notes that I've written for my quiet time. I have all of these tools at my disposal. I can just go for a walk for an hour and spend time with the Lord. If I'm around people, I can close off just a little bit and pray inside, Lord Jesus. And sometimes we only have the words or the emphasis to say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I want to share all this with you. It's all because what he's allowed me to go through. I was going to say he put me through. He's probably put me through some of it, right? But what he's allowed me to go through, and he's given me the calm and the strength. And if you're struggling with calm or strength, draw on what he's done inside of me. Go to him, and you'll see what he does for you and outside of you. Folks, I love you. Go with God. He'll go with you. Walk in this with him, and I believe that you'll be amazed at what he'll do for you, with you, through you.